Hello again, everyone. This is Joe Henches with Beyond the Chart. In this technical analysis of the stock market video, we're going to take a look at the NASDAQ, which got hit very hard on Friday, and then check in on the 5 FANG stocks: Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, and Google. So stay tuned. All right, let's start off here with the NASDAQ Composite. So we had a big bearish engulfing candle on Friday. The NASDAQ down 113.8 points. Big move to the downside, big break. Now the uptrend is still intact. The 2-month trend line that I've got in here is still solid, hasn't broken it. The moving averages are still aligned to the upside. The question I've got is when I look at the Elliott wave pattern of the move since the post-election, the whole Trump rally, this looks like a 5-wave sequence is complete to me. And if this 5-wave sequence is complete, that means minor wave 5 is complete, and that's the 5th minor wave up of the NASDAQ. So watching if this is truly done, then we're going to need to get continuation to the downside here with selling. This trend line will need to break. Okay, so it's for the bulls, this has got to hold. And if it doesn't hold, that's going to test the trend line here, which is a much longer term trend line. Let me zoom back out. It's actually the basically 16-month, I think it is, rally from the February 2016 low. That will be the next real test. And it's interesting that when you look at where that is, that could coincide with a pullback into this level of sideways consolidation that was going on back in here between late February into early April. All right, so that's the picture on the daily chart. Take a quick look at the weekly. Here's the candle for this week, a little, very bearish engulfing type candle in here. Now, it didn't engulf the entire trading range of the previous week, but for all intents and purposes, it pretty much covered the body of the previous candle. Now, again, whenever you get a candle like this kind of bearishness, you need follow through to the downside to confirm that that's truly what's in play in here. And, we're still in a pretty sharp uptrend to the, on the weekly chart. And that's that trend I just talked about from that February 2016 low. So, you got to take it one step at a time. Right now, we had a big break on Friday, but it hasn't really, shattered the short-term trend line yet. It hasn't shattered the longer-term trend line yet, but that's what you need to be watching for. Facebook. Here's the picture on Facebook. Facebook broke the trend line from the December low, which is really the post-election rally. So I'm going to say that Facebook really broke that post-election rally. Watching for a possible double top in here. Here's the low between the two highs. We get a close below that low, then I think we're going to get a lot more selling kicking in. And you can see that when Facebook's broken a trend line of a decent length before, you got some selling that kicked in, and it did some correcting and pullback. So, that's what you need to be watching for here on Facebook. Let's take a look at the next one we'll take a look at is Amazon. Amazon, look at this huge break that occurred intraday here on Amazon. So you got to say, well, the 2-month rally in here from the end of March, that trend line is broken. Closed slightly below the 21-day simple moving average. The moving averages I've got on here are 55 simple, 21 simple, and 10 exponential. Okay, so we've broken this trend line, watching to see now as it pulls back down to this longer-term Trump rally trend line. That'll be the next target to see whether or not we get additional selling here on Amazon. All right, the next one we're going to take a look at is Apple. Okay, here's Apple. Apple has broken that Trump rally trend line. It shattered it pretty well with that move on Friday. I think the next level of support here on Apple is at 144.27, which is the previous low of this little pullback right in here on May 3rd. And we'll see whether or not that holds. And if that doesn't hold, then probably, the little test down below here closer to 140 or so will be the next test. If you don't get support in here, there's quite a bit of space, quite a bit of of movement that occurred in between 120 and 140, and we got this gap that's you know, potentially begging to be closed over here too. So that's something to keep an eye on Apple. Right now it's just, you know, yeah, we've gone to a short-term lower low, and we'll watch to see whether or not selling continues here on Apple. All right, the next one is Netflix. When we look at Netflix, the 10-month or 10-plus month trend line is still intact. This is the longer-term trend line here. Looking at this potential support here at 153. That's the previous pullback on in mid-May. And that kind of coincides with the trend line. So if that doesn't hold, then we're probably looking at a move down into the low 140s to get further support. So this is what we'll be watching for. Again, big break occurring here. And this trend line, if you drew a trend line in here, you're talking about a 2-month trend line. Yeah, it was broken with the move on Friday. But this is the stronger term, longer term trend line here that we're watching right now on Netflix. Okay, the last one we're going to take a look at in this video is Alphabet, the Alphabet Class A, Google, G-O-O-G-L. So this trend line, look how sharp this is to the upside, okay? So when you break trend lines like this, it really is not significant from a reversal standpoint. You're going to get some pullback, but the trend line is way too vertical, okay, to be significant. So right now, I'd be watching for support. I'm looking at my notes here. Around 940 would be my first level support, this pullback that occurred in mid-May. Okay, so I'd be looking for support here. Then the next level will be a continuation down to the top of this gap in here at 921. So 940, then 921. Now, will this gap fill? We'll have to watch and see. We've had a couple previous gaps, and I've noticed that, okay, this downside gap, it got filled within 3 months. This upside gap got filled in 3 months. So you come down, you test here, you test the top of the gap. If this fills within 3 months, that would mean a move down to 894 by the end of July. So that's something to keep on the radar screen. And this trend line down here, this is the entire bull rally from March of 2009. This is the entire rally move on Google. Okay, so that is going to be very strong support. So we'll watch to see, do we get this gap fill here on Alphabet? I keep wanting to say Google, but Alphabet. All right, that's it for today. If you felt like the video was helpful, please hit the like button. And if you're not watching this on my website, head on over to the website. Everyone have a great weekend, the rest of the weekend. We'll talk to you on the next video.